am Sinead Rafferty. I am your HSP alignment coach, and I work with HSPs, highly sensitive people, and empaths, and help them to align with their true path in life, authentically express themselves, and bring their magic, their HSP magic, to the world. So I thought today I would actually just answer the question, what is a highly sensitive person? And do you have this powerful trait? So let's get right into it. Okay, so a highly sensitive person is someone who feels and experiences the world more deeply than most. And it's estimated that around 20%, it's now even thought to be nearly closer to 30% of us, of people, of the population, are highly sensitive. It's a natural biological trait. It's not a condition. There's nothing wrong here. It's a natural trait in how you process things. It's known as sensory processing sensitivity. That's the official name. And it basically means that you have increased awareness and responsiveness to environmental and social cues. You are not flawed in any way. There's nothing to worry about. You don't have to try and change anything. All you have to do is embrace it and try to understand it as a natural part of who you are. So there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to overcome. And all HSPs are unique individuals. There are as many different ways to be highly sensitive as there are highly sensitive people. So let me reiterate, there is nothing wrong with you. You're not flawed or too sensitive or overly emotional, as you might have been told all of your life. The thing is, as HSPs, we can internalize this and feel like there's something wrong with us, or like we're going a bit crazy. But there is nothing wrong. There's nothing to fix. Other people may have offered those terms and labels to us over the years, often through a lack of understanding, and often coming from a good place, trying to toughen us up as such. Do you know what I mean? But it was never going to work. It was never going to work. In order for us to become the strongest that we can and the most aligned that we can, we have to embrace who we are. Now, it's simply that your brain functions differently. Right? Your nervous system functions differently to most people. And it's time now, I am telling you to honor it. I am giving you this message today. And I hope if you need to hear this, that you hear this. It's time to honor it and leverage it as the powerful trait that it is. Let's talk about empathy for a moment, because then you wonder, well, what is an empath? So what's the difference, if any, between a highly sensitive person and an empath? So here is a good visual of the empathic spectrum to give you an idea of the different levels of sensitivity in general. So most people in the world, that other 80 to 70 to 80%, are loving, empathic, compassionate people, and they all fall in this kind of mid-range. So probably most of the people that you know. HSPs are further up along the spectrum, more reactive neurologically and emotionally. They feel and sense more. Everything is processed at a deeper level. Being an empath then is when your level of empathy is at the extreme end of the empathic spectrum. Makes sense. Empaths absorb the energies of others around them, and we can experience the emotions and sometimes even the physical experience of other people. Empaths can feel and read the energy of other people. We know what's going on for other people, and we can soothe them and help them very intuitively, which is a beautiful gift. But this is where empaths need to be careful. It can be really, really challenging for someone who's unaware of this gift and unaware of this beautiful superpower, because your high sensitivity and your empathic abilities means that you can tune into other people around you. And so you can often find that you are carrying around a lot of energy that is not yours, a lot of stuff that belongs to someone else. And that can be really exhausting and really draining. So having that knowledge about yourself is the first step in protecting yourself and protecting your energies. But it doesn't mean that you want to cut yourself off. It's a really beautiful gift that you have that you can offer to the world. HSP superpowers is a kind of a term that I use a lot. I believe that we are the trailblazers and the change makers that the world needs. Not all HSPs, but the HSPs that are purpose driven, that are hungry and want to make change in the world, want to make an impact in the world, in their industry or through their work or through their passion or their mission. So we tend to be the creatives and the educators, the therapists, the coaches, the healers, the advisors, the artists, musicians, problem solvers, connectors, writers, enablers, and visionary entrepreneurs. I love entrepreneurship. I love innovation. And I think that highly sensitive people are absolutely perfect for entrepreneurship. And I do believe that us HSPs and empaths have so much to offer every industry and every pocket of society once we stop actually holding ourselves back. And as HSPs, we tend to be drawn to heartfelt, meaningful work. But what happens is we give too much of ourselves to that heartfelt, meaningful work. So we need to work within our own energetic boundaries. So boundaries are key. Our deep thinking, our creativity, and our empathy are all highly valuable out there in the world of business, entrepreneurship, and in whatever industry that you're in. They're essential. And it has been actually pointed to that a lot of the traits that we naturally have are the skills that are required for the future of work. It's empathy is massive, right? And emotional intelligence is massive. And it's becoming more and more, people are becoming more cognizant of it in the working world. So the traits that you have that maybe you're actually turning down the volume of, they're wonderful traits. You should be leveraging them. You should be making the most of them. Any HSP that I've worked with, and I've worked with a lot now, they tend to have a real deep understanding of their chosen field, their chosen passion, their vision, and their mission. And a lot of studies have shown that HSPs are the ones that the companies want to employ because of these traits, because they're extremely reliable and they dive deep into their work. So more and more research has been done to show just the benefit of using our emotional intelligence and using our high sensitivity as a trait that's required in the world. So here are some of the wonderful superpowers that I'm sure that you have and that I want to encourage you to recognize more and more. So creativity, very creative, imaginative, innovative, intuitive, a deep thinker, a deep listener, a deep feeler, empathic, positive, very conscientious, very purposeful, empowered, self-reflective, which is essential, caring, ambitious, and optimistic. So you're highly intuitive, right? So that high empathy and that high perception and high creativity and problem solving, all perfect ingredients for real success out in the world in business, entrepreneurship, or whatever industry that you're in. And this list is just some of the natural traits of the highly sensitive person. What we do is we underestimate ourselves. Everyone does that. Everyone thinks that, well, if I can do that so easily, then it's not a big deal. It's that kind of like dismissing your own genius, as I would call it, dismissing your own skills. Everybody does that, but HSPs tend to do it to the nth degree because of our depth of processing. So I hope you're getting some insight today on what it means to be a HSP. And does this relate to you? Do you have any questions around it? Please let me know in the chat. Trailblazers is what I tend to call these purpose-driven HSPs and empaths. And Elaine Aron, this is a quote from Elaine Aron and from her book, The Highly Sensitive Person. And she's very much a thought leader in this area and behind most of, if not all of, the initial research on high sensitivity, which she began in 1991. So we have many years of solid research now to back up what's going on in our brains and just how it's functioning that bit differently, and indeed what's happening energetically and anecdotally. And her book just exploded, right? I think it's over 1 million copies sold in 32 languages. So this is resonating. You're not alone. This is a trait that a lot of us have. It's perfectly normal. So Elaine Aron is a clinical research psychologist. She's an author, and I believe she's a trailblazer in her own right. We have a lot to thank her for bringing in acknowledgement and awareness to our trait of high sensitivity. So this is my favorite quote from her book. You were born to be among the advisors and thinkers, the spiritual and moral leaders of your society. There is every reason for pride. So she points out in her book that most cultures, most Western cultures, stem from kind of an original social organization, which is divided into kind of two classes: the impulsive, tough kings and warriors on the one hand, and then the thoughtful advisors and leader, priests and judges, traditionally speaking, on the other side. And the balance of these two classes is really important for the survival of any culture. And you'll guess that most HSPs are naturally gravitate to that royal advisor class. Calm and pensive and cautious and empowering advisors who can help everyone around them, help them, support them, soothe them, inspire them. So it makes sense, doesn't it, that HSPs and non-HSPs work really well together, but HSPs need to value, and society needs to value, our high sensitivity. So I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Are you a trailblazer? Are you a highly sensitive person? Let me know in the comments, and I'd love to connect with you. For now, be proud of who you are. Be proud of your trait of high sensitivity. It's perfectly normal. And the more that you understand it, the more that you can leverage it. I'll see you very soon.